Hi, I'm Jamie Kale Miller of Pandora Astrology here in Berkeley, California, and with me is...
Hello, I'm Julia Mikos, joining in from San Francisco.
And today we want to talk with you about Ceres Retrograde. Now, you may ask, what is Ceres? Why does it matter? And how might it affect your health? Because that is very much the topic today. Now, Ceres is an asteroid in the asteroid belt. You can see its symbol right here, and this chart is set for April 17, 2020. It is in 28 degrees of Aquarius. And Ceres is the Earth Mother goddess, and she is all about the things that connect us to the physical world, our physical bodies, the food we put into them, and the money we make to sustain them. So all of this adds up to us as human beings being able to have a feeling of security, groundedness, and belonging to this beautiful physical world that we live in. Now, you might also ask yourself, what does it mean when a planet goes retrograde? Why should that matter? You probably have heard of Mercury retrograde before, and we're always putting out videos about various planetary retrogrades like Venus or Mars. Ceres going retrograde will have its own unique meaning. So, Julia, when we talk about planets going retrograde, what's the sort of phenomena or feel that tends to go with that?
Mm. Well, when a planet goes retrograde, it means that from our perspective on Earth, it's moving backwards along the path that it just crossed over. So it generally means that there's going to be a lot of redirection, a lot of reviewing, a lot of redoing the things that the planet or asteroid symbolizes.
Yeah, exactly. So you take whatever the themes are, and it's as if those themes want to proceed forward, but they kind of grind to a halt. And then you have to do some backpedaling in that area. You have to sort of reconfigure and maybe do a little retrospective in that area. So Ceres is intricately tied up with our health because Ceres has to do with our health routines and regimens, particularly our bodily maintenance, how we eat. Ceres is there in our charts to help us learn how to eat well for every phase of life that we're in, even though our body's needs change. Ceres is also about wealth building. And so any of these kinds of themes might get snarled up, tangled up, grind to a halt, and really require us to kind of go back and fix some stuff that may be like deferred maintenance. So Ceres retrograde might be the time when you realize that like your banking is in a complete mess and that it has how you manage your money has become a disaster, maybe because you haven't been paying attention to it, or just mismanagement or whatever. And also you may find that some of your bodily care, your health maintenance and your routines around that have gotten deferred, and that you really need to kind of look back at your health routines of the past to figure out, what is it that I used to do that used to work that has sort of fallen off of my map. So this particular Ceres retrograde is interesting because it spans two signs. And the chart that we're looking at right now, which is set for April 17, shows Ceres entering its span for the year. The span is going to take Ceres from 28 of Aquarius all the way forward to 12 degrees of Pisces, where it will turn retrograde, and then it will back up to 28 degrees of Aquarius, and then turn direct and move forward through 12 degrees of Pisces and beyond, and then be done. So a way to think about retrogrades is that certainly they are the whole period while the planet is moving backward in apparent motion, but they are also the lead up period after the planet enters the span but before it turns retrograde, and also the follow through period after the planet has finished being retrograde and turned direct, and before it, as it's completing that span. So I'm just going to run through it for you. So here we are at April 17. There's Ceres in Aquarius, and I'm going to just set this to play and you can watch it go. There it entered Pisces. It's going to proceed up to 12 degrees of Pisces, and it's at 8, it's at 9, 10, 11, and right about July 7th, right there, Ceres turns retrograde in 12 degrees of Pisces. So July 7th, a pretty important date this year. And as it backs up, it's still in Pisces for much of this time. It will be leaving Pisces. You can see it moving backwards now. And 8 degrees, 7 degrees, it's going to dip back into Aquarius, right? Because that's the beginning of the span. And here it goes. Boom, into Aquarius. It's going to get to 28 degrees of Aquarius, and then on October 18th, right here, it turns direct, 28 of Aquarius, but it's not really done until it actually leaves its span, and that's not going to be until January 3rd of 2021. So every phase of this is interesting and important. We only have time in this video to discuss a little of it, but I just want to give you a sense of, yep, there it is, finishing it out. I just want to give you a sense of how to think about this, because if you have anything at all in your chart between 28 degrees of Aquarius and 12 degrees of Pisces, that planet, which might be your sun if your birthday falls in there between 28 Aquarius and 12 of Pisces, that planet in you is going to be really affected by this Ceres retrograde's health and financial concerns. Now, Julia, I want to brainstorm with you for a minute about what sorts of health concerns, deferred maintenance, financial snarl ups people might be experiencing if they're hit by Ceres in Aquarius, and what might hit them if Ceres is in Pisces when it's actually transiting something in their chart. Do you have
That's a good
thoughts on that?
question. Aquarius, that might. I mean, tell me what you think. But the first thing that popped into my head is potentially nervous system stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking that too. I
Yeah,
was
maybe
also thinking
nervous.
about electricity.
Yeah,
Extra
exactly.
electricity in your body that you need to charge out,
Yeah,
right?
insomnia too, being another one.
Insomnia, that's right. Feeling a certain restlessness, a twitchiness, a like restless leg syndrome.
Hmm.
It also seems to me that Aquarius might be associated with autism spectrum disorders,
Yeah, that makes sense.
possibly even Asperger's, things that make us, more sort of dissociated from the world.
Mm.
So there's a bunch of thoughts about Ceres in Aquarius in particular. And then, like, if you want to think about antidotes to them, if you are feeling particularly like nervous, lots of nervous energy, lots of twitchiness, maybe those restless legs, um, you might approach it as if you have excess electricity in your body, and that can also affect you with insomnia. In which case, some good cures might be walking barefoot on the earth and immersing yourself in water. A shower doesn't necessarily do it, but if you're in water, the electric charge can drain out of your physical body. So, what about Pisces, though, Julia?
Mm. Pisces to me says maybe infections and immune system kind of stuff,
Hmm.
especially endocrine issues, maybe a
Hmm.
lot of water retention, those types
Hmm.
of things.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I would think that it would also point very much to perhaps the need to make up for deferred sleep.
Oh, that's
I
good.
would think that,
Oversleeping.
yeah, I would think that, some cures might be things like keeping a dream journal, because I think that, this is really the reason why I wanted to make this video, because as the pandemic, got worse and we started to have various states going into shutdown, I started to hear reports from all over that people were having more active dreaming than they used to, that people were having trouble sleeping, and it just seemed like it had such a Pisces feel to it. I really didn't know why that might be, but I think that it has to do with Ceres in Pisces, and that all of our bodies are processing in maybe a more sensitive, possibly even dreamier way than usual. And I think that sleep probably really matters. And as you say, immune system, because Pisces is a porous water sign, and it's very difficult to hold boundaries with Pisces. I think that it does make a lot of, sensitivity that way. Oh, gracious. Really? Thank you. Let's see. I think that's about all of my thoughts about it. Do you have any other thoughts you want to throw in there, Julia?
Ceres retrograde cycle might also make it a bit harder for the economy to pick up.
Yes, yes. I totally want to address that a little bit more. Because Ceres is about wealth building, I think of Ceres in Aquarius as being associated with sudden, unexpected jolts in your wealth. I think of it as signifying unexpected leaps, perhaps up, down, or sideways. Like a leap up can be where you suddenly get a job that's a little bit beyond you. Maybe it makes a lot more money, but maybe you don't quite know what you're doing and you have to sort of struggle to get settled into it. A sudden leap down might constitute suddenly being unemployed or underemployed or being let go. And I'm sure so much of that has happened during the pandemic. Sometimes it can be a blessing in disguise, but probably not a whole lot of that right now. And then there's sideways. Sometimes Ceres in Aquarius can cause a leap or a shift in how you create your wealth. In other words, like maybe you used to have a job with a paycheck and now you're like running an Etsy store. You're garnering your income in a different way. Ceres in Pisces, I think, has a strong feeling for charity, but can also be really leaky, has a tendency to give money to that, perpetually drunken relative who always has their hand out. And I think that it's really a good idea under conditions like that to become discerning, to use your discernment to make decisions about where you want to channel your money to so that it can do some good. Do you have any other thoughts about the economy?
No, that was it.
Yeah, I think it's going to really make it difficult. And when Ceres goes direct, and that won't happen until October 18th, I think we might see some improvement. It'll go direct in Aquarius. Maybe some people will get their jobs back, or maybe they'll get better jobs. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't
Being
that be
laid
nice?
off and going back on.
Yeah. A state-based shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, we can probably expect something like a new normal economically after Ceres leaves its span. And that won't be until the beginning of next year, which is just exactly what we've been saying. 2020 is like a container for pain. But once it's over, the pain is going to end with it. All right. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and got good out of it. You can find stuff like this on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, organized into playlists for you. We have a monthly forecast page on our website, Pandora Astrology, and you can also tap us for readings at pandoraastrology.com/services. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.